car breaker's yard, where someone's searching for a very specific item of scrap.
Car section's over there, so I'm going to head over here to see what I can find.
Scrap King John Findlay is on the hunt for a wheel. There are hundreds on offer, but he needs one that matches his exact specification.
So all wheels aren't the same, so you've got different size on the inside, you've got different hole patterns, different thicknesses, different widths, all for different makes of lorries, vans, and obviously we've got old ones, we've got new ones. So that one looks similar, but it's too small. It's,
John is searching for a 22-inch lorry wheel, but he has no intention of attaching it to a truck. Instead, he plans to use it to breathe new life into one of these. This is an ultimate fighting robot. 110 kilos of remote-controlled spinning and smashing power. John's hoping that the wheel he finds today will transform one of his prized robots into a champion.
Now this is looking promising. Let me just see how deep it is. So all the robot sits inside this wheel, so what's important is that the diameter of this needs to be big enough and the depth needs to be deep enough as well. And I think this one is the one we're going to need.
John is a design engineer who's turned his passion for robotics into a full-time job.
This is exactly what we're looking for. Oh, it's heavy. Right, let's go. He's
travelled the world with his fighting robots, and scrapyards like this form the inspiration for many of his ideas.
You don't realise just how big and heavy these are. But I suppose a truck has to carry all that weight, so the tyre has to be really strong. Oh, I'm out of breath.
Once the tyre's been removed, John will be taking the wheel to his workshop.
Yeah, let go. Wow. I'm impressed.
Where he's hoping a redundant robot can be reborn.
So I'm one of the lucky ones. I could never have guessed that I turned fighting robots and building gadgets and working with scrap into a career. And it's always good to get out there, build new stuff and see whatever comes up next. As a kid, yeah, I was always taking my toys apart and I was always taking all sorts of stuff apart. So like the worst case scenario for my parents, I was always driving them mad. You know, they came down one Saturday morning to find out that I'd taken the TV apart because I was curious how it worked, which was great. They came down, I was like, yeah, this does this does that and everything else. And they was like, yeah, can you put it back together? I was like, I don't know how it goes back together. I tried, but it never worked. They ended up having to go and buy a new TV. One day, we won't be driving a van. One day we won't be flying planes. Robots will take over the world. You know, we've got driverless cars now. Robots are slowly but surely taking over the world. And the world will be, in my opinion, a much better place until they go wrong and start taking over.
John's workshop tells the story of 16 years spent designing, building and battling robots. Robot fighting is serious business, with its own governing body and strict rules and regulations. Within the arena, competition is fierce, and reputations can be ruined in a matter of seconds.
You have this big adrenaline rush, and then as soon as the lights come on and you start your fight, adrenaline and nerves, it's all gone, and all of a sudden you're just in the zone, focused on your fight. So you've got different weapons that you can use, things like axes, flippers, spinning discs, flamethrowers, you name it, you can do it, and just got to basically take out all your aggression, but you use a robot to do it.
John hasn't won a major competition since 2011. When he came up with a new robot design earlier this year, he was feeling confident about taking the crown once more.
I was actually sat in traffic on the M25 in my van, and I looked to the side of me and I saw a lorry wheel, and I was just like, oh, I wonder if I could actually make that into a robot.
3 months later, spinning at 125 miles per hour and equipped with 2 solid steel cutting blades, Cyclone 360 was born.
So we've got 2 wheels, one on each side. That's what makes it drive. At the back here, we've got our batteries. So everything's electric in this robot. So it's all powered from these batteries. And then at the front, we've got this big motor. Now this big motor is the bit that makes the top spin, so that's a really, really powerful motor. This thing can sit on the spot, and it can actually, once it's up to full speed, as soon as a robot comes anywhere near it, any angle, it's going to attack it.
And at a major competition in Maidstone, Cyclone 360 came up against arch rival Aftershock. And the wheels came off.
The wheel took what seemed like forever to spin up. In the meantime, Aftershocks come over, and there's an almighty bang. And so then I went into defensive mode, which was basically running away, because I knew that every time it hits the robot, it's going to destroy it more and more. I think there was about 4 more impacts where Cyclone 360s went everywhere. The blades came off, so there was pieces flying all over the place, but it kept on going till eventually it got turned upside down, and then we had a main power failure. There was a wire that shorted out, there was a few sparks, a bit of smoke, and then unfortunately that was the end of Cyclone.
Such was the beating that Cyclone 360 sustained, its days in the arena are on hold. But, equipped with his new wheel, John's hoping to make the first baby steps towards getting his prized robot battle-ready once more.
Now, I thought a lorry wheel, you see them on the side of the road, they carry a lot of weight, you'd think that it's going to be indestructible. I was wrong. This thing is made of 12mm thick steel, and you can see the chunks that it's taken out of it. The rim's all battered and bruised. Now, if you imagine a lorry, it's going to drive into curbs, it's going to drive over lumps and potholes. It's going to happen, and you don't see many lorry wheels getting destroyed. So it just shows the power of the other robot. So when I make the new one, I'm really going to have to improve it. The moment of truth.
John's new wheel will form the outer shell for Cyclone 360 Mark II.
Look at that. Cyclone 360 is alive again.
But to prevent history repeating itself, he's designed some upgrades for Son of Cyclone.
So before we had 2 blades and they were horizontal, they weren't angled at all. So what I'm thinking about doing is putting them on slightly different. Now this is an old one. This was the one that was on before. Now this fitted on here. It was just flat, and that's the idea. This bit comes around and hits the other robots. But what I'm going to do is I've made a prototype piece of steel. This time, I'm actually going to angle them. So the idea is it's going to get underneath the robots and actually do more damage. We also only had 2 before, so 3 is bigger than 2. So I think I'm going to put 3 blades on as well, and hopefully then we'll have 3 times the destruction. So this is what we're going to do now. We're going to make the blades.
Cyclone 360 won't be facing another robot for some months. In the meantime, John plans to test its powers against some less mobile opponents. Waiting in the wings, an old PC, an oven, and a washing machine. If Cyclone can put pay to them, he may have a future in robot fighting.
So basically you've got a mixture of a plasma, so you're burning the metal, but you've also got compressed air, which is blowing it through as well. So that's how you end up with a nice clear cut. And that's it, we've got our first blade already cut out. Just move this out of the way.
John's fashioning 3 solid steel cutting blades to attach to Cyclone 360's outer casing. Once the robot gets up to full speed, these blades should be capable of inflicting some serious damage.
The beauty of this with the CNC plasma cutter is that they're all going to be exactly the same as well. One of the things that's important with this robot is the balance. So each of the blades needs to be put in the right place. They all need to be the same weight, because if you don't do that, what will happen is it'll wobble and it's going to fall over and go all over the place. So we need to make sure that these are the same weight.
An old lorry wheel is about to be transformed into a mechanical killing machine, complete with angled blades to upend and obliterate any opponent. John has his own custom-built test arena, complete with polycarbonate walls to protect spectators from any flying metal. Welding complete, it's time for Cyclone 360 to take its first tentative steps back into the world of ultimate fighting robots.
So we've got our battle arena behind me here. Hopefully these teeth are going to be destructive. There's going to be bits flying all over the place. So we're going to get the robot in, then we'll get our first test piece in there, and let's create some destruction.
First up, an old PC tower, complete with drive interface, 3 USB ports, and fully installed antivirus software.
It served me well, this PC, until the end, but I don't think this will be any match for the destructive capabilities of Cyclone 360.
Remote control at the ready. It's time to see whether John's new design will do the job.
We're going to get it spinning up, and then we'll wait for the big bang, see what happens. So we're going to get it lined up. We're going to start it spinning. Going to give it another hit. Maybe go for one more. Bit more speed. Yeah, I think that PC's pretty dead.
It's round 1 to Cyclone 360, and it hasn't sustained a single scratch.
Okay, so there's bits everywhere. We'd hit it 3 times. Yeah, I don't think this PC is going to work anymore. Yeah, it's completely destroyed it. But the new blade seems to be working pretty well. So time for the oven.
Next up, a multifunctional integrated kitchen oven with an enamel interior and fully programmable timer.
That was a nice impact. Oh, yes. No more cooking for that oven. Let's go and have a look. Okay, yeah, there's bits everywhere again in the arena. Oh, what a mess, what a mess. Okay, yeah, so we've hit it at the front. You can see the thickness of this. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of steel in there. There's not much left. The door, I don't even know where the door is. It's in pieces all over the place. Just check the robot over. Yeah, robot's tip-top condition. It's no match for the robot.
Cyclone 360 takes the second round, but the final and toughest test is about to begin. How will Cyclone's spin-powered skills fare against the spin cycle of John's washing machine?
So there's concrete in the bottom of this, so it's going to be a heavy impact. Again, thick steel, bits of plastic. I don't know, maybe the door's going to come off, but let's get it in the arena. Let's see how it fares. Oh, this is heavy. That's the bad boy. I bet this weighs more than the robot itself.
The final opponent, a fully automatic washing machine with 3 spin cycles, optional eco setting, and variable temperature.
Right. Okay, here we go then.
First, a tickle. Then a full-blooded attack. John's new blades are put paid to the opponent in seconds.
I think that's the end of the washing machine. Robot 1, washing machine 0. Right, let's go have a look. The door's hanging off. We've got bits hanging out. You can see where the blades have actually cut all the way through the steel. That's what we want to do when we're fighting other robots. And obviously the inside's here. Yeah, there's not much left. We'll just check the robot, make sure it's all fine. I'm pretty sure it is. It's made of tough stuff. The blades, we scratched the paint a little bit. Yeah, I think we're ready for battle now.
The test has been a complete success, but washing machines don't fight back. In the coming months, Cyclone 360 will be tested against ever tougher opponents. John's hope is that eventually it'll take to the arena once more to wreak revenge on its rival. Aftershock.
So it is now my mission in life to make Cyclone 360 so big, so strong, so tough, it's going to absolutely destroy Aftershock.
If John's plan works, a robot made from scrap could one day be a champ.